we go. Hey everybody, I'm Revengeance, and we are here today to talk about Legion again. With me today, I have my two favorite co-hosts, Johnny B. Crazy and Fandom D. Saint. I remembered to say it correctly. And go ahead and introduce yourself today, guys.
Okay, I'll go first. Hey everyone, Fandom D Saint, the artist formerly known as BBM, because you're going to be hearing people in the panel and probably in the live chat going to be saying BBM. So yes, it's BBM. I cannot wait to talk about the latest news that is Legion, one of my top favorite Marvel shows to date right now. Thank you once again for having me, Ree, and good to see you too, Johnny, and people in the live chat.
It is a pleasure and an honor to be on with the great Revengeance and Fandom D Saint. It's been a long time coming, and we are back to bring you some Legion. There's been some fantastic news. We're up in odds about this Beggar King situation we have going here, but I'm excited to talk about it. Thank you so much for having me on, Ree.
Oh, yes. And let's go ahead and just jump right in because we've been really excited saying, oh, Professor X is going to come. And we knew it was leading to this. So we, as Game of Thrones people especially, found out that Harry Lloyd, a.k.a. Viserys Targaryen, is going to be playing Charles Xavier in season 3. And that's just really exciting, first of all. So I want your first impressions when you guys heard this news, first of all.
It was exciting. Like since season 1, I'm like, come on, we better get, Charles Xavier in season 2. Season 2 comes along and it's like you're just saying professor, when the rival to the Shadow King, but it's like, come on, where is damn Professor Xavier? And then I heard the news that season 2 is going to be its final season. I'm like, I highly doubt they're even going to do, Professor Xavier. I remember both you and Johnny were like, oh, something about the news, but I thought that was just going to be just the news about, it being like the final season. The moment I left that live stream and I opened up my social media, they show who's actually Professor Xavier. I think I messaged both of you guys. And excitement, finally they actually did it. They had the balls to put a Professor Xavier. I don't care if it's the one Patrick Stewart that we keep on seeing in the movies. So just give me a Charles Xavier. And they actually did it, finally. Now we don't have to go and march at FX or Fox Studios and burn it down. They can remain standing now.
Exactly. We got it. I don't know if I could say it any better myself. Fantastically put, my friend. I do think we're at least going to get one great scene with him, too. So I think it's going to be more than a passing glance. They've been hinting at this the whole time, which I'm glad they just weren't hinting at it. But it's going to be the wrap up. So I wonder if what this face-to-face contact, if David does have it with his father, is going to entail, because there's so many things that can happen here. And if they're probably not going to go straight from the comic book, right? They don't want it to be predictable. And this is a TV show. They don't want to leave you lost, pun intended. So yeah, we can delve into this. Tinfoil hat time.
Oh, yeah. And we were actually kind of talking about this a little bit before. And yeah, we did find out that season 3 will be the final season. But this was kind of how it was planned. It was made to be a 3-act from the beginning, according to Noah Hawley. And I was kind of thinking that it's kind of going to go on Simon Spurrier's X-Men Legacy version. And this is where my tinfoil is kind of coming in, which was, and I'm reading where he wrote that the central goal was to bring David to a place where he'd overcome everything he reasonably could. His enemies, his own ability to trust others, his pride, his confusion regarding his father, and most importantly, his mental illness. And I think it's kind of going to go on this because he's kind of had daddy issues and it's focused so much on mental illness.
Well, he wants to be loved, right? That's the only thing.
Yeah. And that's it. It's I deserve to be loved, That's his mantra through all of it.
But he doesn't have to earn it, right? That's what he thinks. He thinks he automatically deserves to be loved without anything with his backstory being taken into account, I think. It's a delusion, right?
Yeah.
I started with the damn egg, and here we are now.
Oh, it always starts with egg on it. Yeah, and you know what? I kind of thought that we were gonna like, because they messed with our minds with a narrator with John Hamm. So if we weren't gonna get John Hamm for Charles Xavier, I'm really happy with who we did get. So, and because I love Harry Lloyd, I love him reading. I could already like hear him talking in my head, like David, and just messing with him. And we do have an, oh man, okay, let me see her name again. But we do have, it does say that we're going to have Gabrielle also cast this season, so it will be a flashback to both of his parents.
It would be nice if they actually did the flashback to like the night or so where they either like drop him off at his adoptive parents' place or just like right after it. Maybe if so, because if they're gonna do like where they're both together, it's like, well, why specifically when we're gonna get like both Professor Xavier and his mom at the same time, or is it gonna be two different time zones within the past where they're both together or separated?
Yeah.
I see. It may be a flashback. It may be him trying to figure out what's going to happen. I hope it's not just a flashback we see Xavier in. But what if it's him coming to the realization that it's not him that's been in control this whole time? It's Jamel or whoever the person that killed his mother is that they're going to portray in the show. Maybe that's the realization he comes to with that. Now, could we get this confrontation between him, Magneto, Xavier, and him accidentally killing his father? Maybe, but I don't know if they're going to get that complicated and deep with it.
Well, maybe so. And her name is Stephanie Corneliusson. I'm gonna say I might be saying her name wrong, but and I'm not seeing what she was in. I did see her earlier, but I'm not remembering. Mr. Robot, she's from Mr. Robot. There we go.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Maybe it's possible like he's gonna try to go back in time to defeat Farouk earlier or so to prevent Farouk from doing like anything in the past. Isn't that the main reason why they even gave up Dave in the first place? Was it because of the Farouk situation or no? I'm not 100% sure.
I've heard people saying too about that we'll see like Xavier and Farouk's battle, that we should be seeing their psychic battle take place. And that's a good point because we hear that teased a lot. Another thing too, where you were just talking about with David's mother, we hear a lot about the angriest little boy. So we still have the big question of what happened to David's parents.
They could turn it out where he killed his mother.
That's what I've kind of wondered before, if that's maybe where that persona in his head came from, the angriest little boy, and the whole reading the book, his father reading the book and all that. Maybe that's where that flashback's going to come in and we're going to see his father and it actually be revealed as Harry Lloyd, because that would kind of fit even when that, when we see that in,
Well, they're going the whole split personality route, and I don't think they're going to go with a terrorist killed his mom. It seems a little cliche, especially in the moment as well. So they might give us a flip right there if he killed his mom himself.
I know.
Yeah, it would make good sense though, because maybe that's when his like power is like first manifested, and he kills his mother, and that's when they decide, okay, let's send him somewhere else, and it ended up,
That's what I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe if he had any memory of it, then Farouk created, the angriest boy. It's pretty much just masked the whole thing.
I think we just call it the ending of this because that's going to be himself pretty much going to wipe himself from existence at that point. He'll realize what he's done. Yeah, I think you may be right about that, Rhea. I think you were talking about that earlier, about it ending the same way the comics did, but that would wrap it up where it could end that way.
Right.
There would be a good reason for him to do that. You wouldn't have to have 400 comic books.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And they've already said that this is a story set apart from the MCU, and totally, and they are doing a complete reboot of X-Men and everything. From what I hear with Disney and everything in the Fox version and all that, they're just gonna, we're gonna get a complete reboot of the whole X-Men universe now, I guess. I know that Wolverine's getting cast too now, recast.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm like, ah, come on now.
I know, I can't even imagine somebody else's Wolverine.
Just give us CGI freaking Logan, man. That's all you
Yeah, I
gotta
was about to say they should do some old man Logan with him at least. I
Yeah.
think. I think. I'm just saying. Come on, hint, hint there. We do have a new character this season too. Is another new mutant that's supposed to manipulate time. That's going to be called Switch. And we were talking. Speaking of him snapping himself out of existence, of her taking maybe Blindfold or Bishop's place in the time altering, snapping out sort of place. Um, I believe she's played by, here it is, Lauren Tsai. I might be saying her name wrong. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at that. And she's a model and an artist. She's only been credited with a reality series on Netflix, Terrace House Aloha State. So, but she'll be a new one. So that's a brand new mutant for us. So who do you guys think that we're going to see her reflected? Do you think she's going to have anything to do with, I guess we'll call it the Legion snap?
Like, I'm curious how it's going to be, because I think it says what, the first episode or so she's going to make like an appearance. So
Yeah.
I want to know how they're going to like tie her in there. And I think she said she too has the same thing with David. She wants to be loved as well. And I'm guessing it's going to be like, oh, well, let's just try to go through our lives and see, okay, when was the point where people most loved us? And maybe let's start with the people we gave birth to, pretty much. And maybe maybe she can actually suggest to David to go back in time to actually meet his parents. That could be a good segue for them. Because at this point, it's been like, what, 3 years? And he's just been chilling at that commune. So it's like, is he not once thought, oh, let me just time travel, Not only that, though, but I'm curious, will Switch meet Sid, and will they actually develop like another plan about time travel?
Well, you're gonna have the classic love triangle situation happen here. I mean, come on, man. It wouldn't be a TV show without it.
You really got Sid, David, and Aubrey Plaza's character, Lenny. There we go, right?
It's Lenny. I can't wait for Lenny.
See, Lenny's more of a platonic friend, even though it did get weird a couple of times. I do see her either giving David the idea and or confidence, or he meets her when he does go to the past and brings her back with him, ultimately causing a crazy situation, maybe even unfolding the events that are already inevitably going to unfold. Can he stop this is the big question, right? And I don't think so. I feel like he's going to completely go dark, but it's not going to happen in the beginning of the season. We're going to see perhaps him in the future. Maybe we got these glimpses of him living out his realities in season 2, right? With all him going back and forth, and maybe he's trying to decide which path he wants to take. It's hard to know, especially the way they left it off. But he does know what powers he's capable of. I mean, saw him bend space-time right there. So he doesn't need anyone to go back in time. But he does need confidence. He does need a shoulder to lean on. And that is a really good point.
Yeah, he needs that guidance to figure out what he can do, basically. And maybe they might bring Charles in, because at one point in the comics they do bring Charles in to kind of get inside his mind to bring him out when he's like in a catatonic sort of state. Now, maybe, I mean, that could be what it's all about. We might see a flashback of that even when they brought him in, and he might not even know who he is. But what if, like, where you're talking about him having the ability to manipulate time and everything like that, he's going to be also have the ability to manipulate emotions and stuff. So he's going to be building on what he knows. And we've already seen him go dark with the Red David, with the globe and all that. But now he's going to have followers. He's going to have what they call with the alkalites, right? And he's going to be getting inside of their head. So basically, like I told you guys, it reminded me of a cult, how it was described. Like, he's going to be putting out good emotions into their minds and feeding off of their happiness, basically. And they're good emotions and stuff and happy thoughts basically. And at the end of season 2, we see Oliver and Melanie 3 years later inside the ice cube. Do you think that's what we were seeing there? Like, or because it says that David's like in this Zen state right now. Is this all it is? Is he's developing a cult?
I think it's gonna be similar to that, to where that state that he's in is gonna be similar to what Oliver and Melanie are in. But like back to the acolytes thing, because I just immediately just remind myself of Marvel's Runaways with that one church, and it seems like they connect. I can see a similar situation where they think that, oh, David's pretty much like our savior and stuff, but in reality, he's just doing something else entirely different.
Yeah, he could be absorbing part of them as well. Maybe not doing the full, oh, everyone dies, he absorbs them. Maybe he absorbs their powers and part of their being. Hence the reason why they're in this catatonic-like state. We see them in the ice cube. Maybe that's part of them that he's stored away. Uh, it's hard to unravel this, but I'm trying to. He seemingly needs Oliver for certain things, and I feel like he's going to take out people for the powers that he needs to get his sociopathic goal attained, I guess is the best way to speak. Because he doesn't know he's sick. This is what's the poetic irony of this story. He thinks he's a good person. He thinks he's well, but he's not well. And he's not a horrible person. He's just really sick. And he's a mutant on top of it. And this is exacerbated by, we talk about Charles Xavier, and when he had his seizures, and what was the event called? It's on the tip of my tongue. The Winchester event.
Yeah.
And just that small thing as dementia and old age, and whether or not that's connected, I don't know. But just seeing that small thing kill so many people and have such an effect. Imagine what Charles Xavier would do if he had multiple personalities. And that's what we're looking at here. It's that maybe more powerful.
Yeah, and then you think about he's absorbed like 1,000 Charleses up in there, because every person that is within range, basically. That's how I think of him. Is he's like a ranged attack, and everybody that's like in that circle that dies like just goes up in his mind.
Exactly. Especially when it came to like season 1, like didn't some of the patients like die when that whole situation happened? So it's like
yeah.
there's just more on top of that as well. It's just
he just like blew the floor out. Remember whenever Sydney was in him? And okay, here's the thing. I think we're gonna see him go full just badass, because at the end of he was like, just screw y'all, and when he was finally going up against Farouk and was dealing with Oliver, he had enough, and he's just like, why am I doing this anymore? I'm tired of being, playing into everybody's game. And then they turned on him, and just how everything went, I think he's just and Sydney too, where they're trying to play her like the hero. You got to remember still that she was tricked, So, and here's a question: do y'all think that Sydney is in his mind or actual person? First of all,
I'm still like questioning that, honestly, because if we know she could be a part of his mind, and then just put her within that conscious whatever into like a patient and whatever, and just warp reality itself and to make like, oh, this whole time like it was real. But I'm more 50-50 of it, but I'm still kind of leaning toward that she actually was real. But even then, it's like she'd been manipulated through the future Sid. It's like that future Sid, that's like I'm more questioning. It's like, was she ever real? Or was that just created, through Farouk to just manipulate all the events to make sure he even has his body at the end? And also make sure that if he gets, taken, he has another way to escape, which pretty much has happened. Because if he never, once he got captured, he made sure that, Sid would remember what David did to her, so that whole trial could have happened.
Yeah.
That's kind of perfect too, though, if we're the whole audience is eyeballing Farouk as the bad guy, and it ends up being David in the end. Uh, uh, that's why I think the show is lovely and complicated, because Farouk can be a bad guy, and so can David. Sid, she is a hero in her mind, right?
Yeah.
Right, and she's definitely manipulated, and I wouldn't put it past the show or David for a part of Sid to be inside of his head that he just couldn't have helped to have absorbed after they kissed. Maybe he got a piece of her essence there. And some of the things we've seen thus far have been in his head and not real. Boom, boom. Put on your tinfoil hats and run with that one.
Yeah, no, and I'm kind of in agreement with you actually, because I think she was real at one point and kind of got absorbed over the point at some point with one of the kisses, because they did it a couple times, so it seems like that was something that they could do, like maybe with her power, because she's got the whole touch thing, you know. But I think at some point she's been absorbed because she was in his mindscape when she was out in the desert and all, so.
And the firepower.
Yeah, yeah. So I just don't see how else, you know, Cindy.
And now she's gonna be teaming up with Farouk now to try to take down David. Because that was like one of our questions. It's like, okay, if Farouk was or not gonna return, like who's gonna be like helping them, you know? And now we learn that Farouk is gonna be teaming up with Sid in training to defeat him. David, it's like, let's see how that even goes down.
Yeah, and that's actually another good point to bring up, is because I actually shared a picture with you guys that I caught when I was watching season 2 again on a rewatch, which is now on Hulu, guys. So go catch season 1 on 1 and 2. And it said that and before, because I was kind of wondering if it was about Hydra, remember? And it was actually about different wanted posters that was posted in Division 3. And so we have other big bads coming up other than Oliver. Do you think maybe we'll see some of them in season 3?
It would be interesting if that's what they do, like get some of the people that are wanted to, you know, combat David at this point. Because we already saw like previous season 2 where Dave versus Farouk, they're pretty much like almost like equal in strength or so. And sometimes like Dave was like a little bit more stronger, so way you put it. But if they're really still gonna go up against David, and for like 3 years now, he could have just been, you know, whole name becoming even more powerful, and possibly even Farouk. They need more people. And that would be actually a good segue if they actually do like bring some of those wanted people just to combat him at this point.
And I actually thought about the monster that he killed when I seen the one poster of it was like centipede or something like that. I forget what the name of it was. It wasn't centipede, but you know, for this what I thought was a Hydra thing, and Hydra, yeah, but it wasn't. And there was 2 other guys on the poster too, and I'm actually wondering if they'll even pop up as other personalities for David too. Because that's another possibility too.
Yeah, it could happen, but given that this is going to be the last season, I don't know if they want to introduce more personalities other than the 3 we have. Just for, I mean, everyone isn't as hardcore as we are. I wish they were. But I think we're going to only see the 3, which is enough. And yeah, there could easily be a bad guy type situation where they have to use David, right? And then ultimately that's how they trick him into either catching him or showing him what he's actually done, revealing to him his true nature, you know. I don't know. What do you think, Vivian?
Because it'll be interesting, because I still want different type of personalities, not just like those 3 different Davids or so. It's what, 3 or 2 Davids, extra Davids we always keep on seeing. But either way, I still like wish that when we go to season 3, we actually see them different actors like portraying these personalities at best, though. But yeah, just like what Johnny was saying, it being like the last season, and I don't even know like how many episodes we're even gonna get. Like, I wish that they don't introduce too much new characters and focus like on like where we just have right now. Unless it's like, again, Professor Xavier and like David's mom, that I'm okay with. That and Switch too, but if they keep introducing too much, it's like, oh, we're gonna get like wrap up to like characters like we already have, you know, like Carrie, the two Carries, autonomy, especially autonomy. It's like what's how he's gonna like be within this season. He's gonna have like a body again, like the
He's
Vermilion.
just Bran.
Yeah.
He's Bran. Hope it doesn't be disappointing as season 7 Bran.
He's just gonna tap into the mustache chicks every now and then.
What do you think about him bringing the Age of Apocalypse? Do you think he could kill Charles Xavier, being as it's not mixed in with the Marvel Universe and it is basically an independent show? I think they could do something with this, but how would you leave it if he did bring upon the apocalypse? Would it be a doom and gloom ending to the series, or would they have to just ramp it up and make that happen within the first half of the season?
Honestly, I thought that's what they were kind of planning on doing with season 2 when we saw Future Sid explaining like how's present day. And like me, I remember people in the comment section as well, they were like, is this going to be like the Age of Apocalypse that's going to be brought out here? That's going to be the conclusion to the series. But I don't know, because if they want to say if they want to be separate from the X-Men verse and stuff, it's like I don't see them like doing that unless they just like bring in, I don't know, like Galactus or someone else. I don't even know if Disney's even going to do that at this point. But if they're going to do anything, maybe they can bring in Sinister, because they last time I checked, they haven't done Sinister or anything.
I think he's got his own movie coming. Actually,
oh, he is?
Yeah. And I think, and I've heard that they're actually negotiating on Galactus, and I think he'll pop up like in a future Avengers sort of thing.
Yeah, because that's might also be like the next big bad like Thanos at this point.
Yeah,
if it should be him, then the next should be like Thanos, and
Yep.
Just bring in the not X-Men, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
the Fantastic Four.
Right.
That would be great.
Silver Surfer.
To what you said, BBM, he may be in a sense himself Apocalypse in the scenario. Maybe they merge the characters, I think, at the given the way events unfolded. It still doesn't make sense why Sid could think she could get through to a crazy person from the future.
Because she's crazy.
It goes back to setting events into motion as well. I don't know.
I'm still curious did the future Sid even like accomplish her plan? Because so far we still see Sid with 2 arms here, perfectly still there and stuff. She made sure like all this events that's currently happening would be to Farouk to get his body, and I don't think in the future he got his body. So I think what's happening now is what she wanted. I don't even know. Like, again, now that we have Switch, who can pretty much time travel at this point, because if there's a point in time in the show where she has a conversation with Sid, it's like, okay, does she, time travel with freaking Sid? And if so, does Sid have her 2 arms or does she not?
Yeah, and remember, Sydney was practicing on switching bodies back and forth too, with like the cat and stuff.
So at this point, she can pretty much, just switch bodies or even switch at one point. And then she can pretty much just be with David. Or just switch bodies with even Lenny.
Yeah.
Maybe she will do that in the end to win, sacrificing herself in the same way the show started.
She realizes she was a dumbass listening to Melanie and getting tricked.
It's hard to say how much of that's real.
I think you said it best though, because you said that she was right in her own mind or whatever, because she was, as far as she was concerned. But yeah, she got tricked. She got tricked hands down, because she saw what she was meant to see, what they wanted her to see, and it was bent.
Could David be misremembering though?
Yeah. I think that's what happens with the book with the angry little boy.
And he's struggling with a fractured brain, so to speak, right now, and possibly fractured memories. So given the whole base of Legion is pretty much trauma and pain. That's kind of who he is and what you have to deal with and everything he even overcomes. I mean, the fact that he even is able to live and he survives this long and is able to make certain decisions is astonishing in the comic books. It's a character that's hard to relate to anything because he's unlike any character out there.
Well, and we see him too a lot. This is another thing too, where we're especially when we're trying to pinpoint timelines. We see him a lot in the back of the cop car when he's younger, right? So that's probably, we were talking earlier about, we were looking for the trigger point when his powers manifested, you know, and when possibly he might have killed his mother. Like we were talking about him being possibly the angry little boy and him killing his parents, and you know that was when his powers manifested and all, as far as the TV show goes, and maybe that being the point when we go back and see Professor X and his mom and Gabrielle. We keep seeing that little boy, right? Well, he's not really that young, but you know, just we keep seeing that younger version of David, right? So what if that is the point that we're going back to? And it's all going to come full circle. If this is meant to be 3 acts, and that's how Noah Hawley planned it out, and this is meant to be one story, wouldn't it make sense that we come back to that little boy and have it explained? And that he is essentially just the angry little boy inside David?
I'm gonna go back if you. This is blowing my mind because when in the comics, the most fantastic things happen in his freaking brain. All the fun shit happens in his head. So then, this is why I call into question everything that happened in was it the Gobi Desert that they went to?
Yeah, when they was looking for like where in the world was the body Farouk.
Yeah, that's definitely in the head. I feel like maybe what if Farouk was trapped inside David? The last remnants of Farouk after Xavier killed him went inside David, like kind of in the comic books. But instead of him having a physically body, he just had to actually escape David's mind. And maybe that's everything we saw there. Possibly the sarcophagus is just a metaphor, you know, and we see this being used now that I think about it, with David being put in there in his own mind in a coffin. So maybe this coffin was never real. Maybe everything we've seen there, maybe even the manipulation with Sid, because we do see the classic Legion from the comic books for a few seconds in between all of those scenes. So, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that.
Didn't something happen like that in the comics where David was like put in like a little box or something like that and shut off from everybody, and they had to go and save him? Like Magic came in, and wasn't that when Magic came in? Someone came in and saved him.
Yeah, they were called that storyline. That's when something happened to him to the point that they had to like, you know, imprison him or something.
Right.
In that box, yeah.
And it was a little scared David. I remember that. So yeah. It does. It seems we're coming. It just seems like we're coming full circle back to it. But they play heavy on the trauma part of it. You're right there. And well, here's another question for you, because we've seen multiple Davids, and all right, they remind me because they have the different colors. We have the yellow shirt, the red shirt, and the green shirt. They remind me of the different emotions, like envy, jealousy, rage, you know, just different emotions, stuff like that. And we used to have Blue David. We don't see Blue David no more, though. Blue David may be locked inside there now. Who knows? Maybe that's who's in the coffin. But that's the ones that we had fighting at the end. Now, when we had the multiverse going on, we had that green, that yellow, and the red. But then we had the other little Happy David that had the little family and all that. Where do you think the multiverse is going to play into season 3, though?
Probably not much because it's ending there.
Keep in mind the one story. It's all one story. So everything is now relevant.
Yeah,
to this day, I see it as a standalone episode, really. Like, I don't know. because it only had that one message, and that one message is simply just, that line that Farouk said in the previous episode. So it's always like, is this really a skippable episode? Really? But I don't know. To this point, even if David does fail or so, like, it's just another reality just right then and there just pops up and is formed. It was just so confusing, that one episode, really.
I well, the only way it's not confusing is if it's in his head and we find out what's going on in his mind. See, this is what frightens me, is I think what you said in the chat earlier is he's going to be in a corner drooling at the end. It may just happen at this point.
They kind of hint to that in previous episode, not previous episode, previous season. I think it was like the finale where we saw the personalities, talking to David, and then they like bring him into like they transition to like one room where he's just there in the middle of the room, and he's like, "Oh, you're pretty much just alone, and no one loved you." And the next day, Sid appears. It's like, all right. So it brings up to the earlier question that we said at the beginning of the stream: is even Sid even real? Did he just created her? Is he part of his mind?
And yeah, and season 2 even starts the same way. He's just sitting in a room and he's kind of sitting there drooling. And then we have Clark and Patani walk in and he's like, they're all infected. And then they go in the room and see all the people infected. And it made me think, I bet that's like all the people in his brain. And he's talking about they're all in the maze. They're all in the maze, not infected. But he was like, they're all in the maze. But he was sitting there like all like, and it made me think about him sitting in Clockworks. And I wondered if he's just sitting there doped up somewhere this whole time, just out of it and doesn't know what's going on. And real quick, I want to say happy birthday to Lady Dreamfire. Her birthday's tomorrow. Very special day.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
everyone's birthday's tomorrow. Or
I
this
know.
week.
Well, yeah, me and her have the same birthday. So.
Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh. Isn't it like Johnny's? His birthday's coming up too.
Yeah, happy birthday, Johnny Be Crazy. His is the 15th. Happy birthday, Cameo. Hers is the 12th.
Everybody's birthday.
February
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Desiree. My birthday, or my niece, Desiree. She's gonna be like.
This is nothing but birthday cakes all week.
Right?
Bunch of love babies.
Babies, yeah. Oh, Peter, you're sweet. I don't want to go back to 20.
I feel, I just want to ask y'all really quick. What are we gonna see with Ptolemy here? Is he merged with his tree? Is he gonna be the Watcher? Is he some kind of access point?
Basket head, actually.
Because didn't he like go into like a vermilion body or so and speak through that? So they might also just create one in his like, appearance, and he could pretty much just go through there and like communicate with everyone, but at the same time still be in the tree. Like that's like another way, because it would be upsetting. Because I remember in the first season there was like that one gentleman and then he died. We can never remember his name. That he's always like moving objects and stuff. Yeah. And then the season 2 now it's Ptolemy, and he could be just out. And out of the game. And then season 3, will someone else die? And if so, wouldn't it be either Melanie or would it be Sid? It's like almost like every season, like someone, or even the 2 carries. That's like another question. It's like, well, one of the 2 carries die? Because they hint that previous season.
Well, definitely, I think it would be the older carry because they have hinted at that one. You're right. We were talking about that before too, weren't we? It seems like they're kind of leading to that one, especially with like the streak in her hair and, him worrying about her so much. And, because he's been aging and she hasn't. And it would kind of be sweet if he sacrificed himself for her or something like that,
I'm
They
curious
just got that kind of
season 3 is like, will we see like more gray hair from her or not? Because it's been like, they said it's like, 3-year time skip, right? They were going to go into season 3. Is like, if she doesn't have like a lot of gray hair at all, something's up there. Unless they somehow fixed it. Because you have Farouk right there, and it wasn't he the one who did it in the first place. So if he's actually teaming up with Sid and them, he can possibly help them out there.
And alt timeline, her too she didn't have gray hair with the sword and all either. But the other Carrie wasn't there with her, and that one. So
Feel like she's gonna catch up in age with the male Carrie.
yeah,
And the longer she's out, like she's gonna have this rapid acceleration of age, and he's gonna him being the older one. It seems like they're setting us up to think he's gonna die, but I feel like she is. Either way, it's gonna be hard on the other one, and it can be written really well. Uh, but I think the younger Carrie passing away will have more impact. Uh, that part of you, losing a part of you, everyone can relate to that, and that's really what this character is all about. Yeah. I'm so
Make a
lost
point.
in this wormhole.
I just hope that she doesn't age that much, because if she does like age even like close to his age, like will she even like be like physically able to like still do all those badass scenes or so?
yeah,
Then
she'll
again, it
be able to
is
go
a
all
comic
over
book
across.
series, so they can probably still make her still a badass even at old age or so. Like I don't know.
She's only got glaucoma in the one eye, man. She'll be all right.
What about Clark? Do you see Clark finishing the
I
interrogator?
hope he does. I hope he does at this point. He could end up dying though, but it seems like he's just been there since the beginning. And I guess he still could be effective some shape or form. There's always some part of division that's just with the team at this point. But hopefully he gets like more of a active role at this point. Because it was just like the previous season, he was just there for dialogue's sake. And that's it.
Yeah, for someone for Sydney to talk to about girl stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
I really think he will, though, because he's really the only human protagonist we have in this series, and there's no other human point of view. To kill him off would be killing off everything except mutants. And I think having his point of view there is very good, especially the scenes from when you find out about his past. It's pretty touching, and I think he has a rise up. He may be the unlikely savior that we see here, or the one that can get through to David because of his humanity. Not saying that mutants aren't human, but this powerless person stands up to David, right? Even though he's scared, he still stands up to David, and David respects this. So they could really go somewhere with that.
I like that way of thinking, actually. I like that better than Sydney. And yeah, he is like the only person we see that doesn't have special abilities. So it would be really cool to see him do something, you know? And I like where they're going with this character. At the very beginning, like to me, he's a Phil Coulson because like I started to see a lot of Shield, and I started wondering if Division 3 was a part of Shield. And like if you look at the different divisions, they line up with Shield, but I don't know. I think it's kind of like a mock Shield within Legion's universe, if that makes sense.
It does, because we can't use Shield, so it's like, okay, let's make a division.
Right? So yeah, we got the different divisions. That's what we got instead. But yeah, and especially it's very similar, especially with all the Hive stuff behind them and all. And speaking of the Hive stuff, where that just comes back to David with the whole cult thing and getting in people's minds in season 3. I'm wondering just how that's going to come back around because they have shown a lot of Hive stuff going on and little just foreshadowing and Easter eggs. I guess you'll say all throughout the series of Hive stuff. So it makes me think of Hive Mind and stuff. You know,
The multiverse filler episode, as BBM calls it, that could be everyone he's a part of in the real world. He is God as he's sitting there talking to his sister. This could be a glimpse of the 3 years or farther into the future. We know his sister is going to come back somehow. He's going to bring her back. That's kind of his whole mission at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we have to pull Amy back into this situation. Now, are we going to see a lot of Lenny? Maybe, maybe not. It's probably going to be about as much as in season 2. I hope more, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think he's definitely a part of everyone, especially with this whole emotional whatever he does, are they going to have him do in the show as far as taking basically mind controlling these people? I don't know. I can't think of the proper words at this moment. Take over before I rant forever.
Yeah, that'll just be just an insane thing he does. Just in a hive mind, everyone is just David at this point, and now he can truly be loved since he's pretty much everyone at this point. You know, that would be the way that actually could like make him, you know, truly evil. Because I still don't see him as he isn't like an opposing force for, you know, Sid and them, but I still don't see him like that dark as Farouk at this point still. So it's like if he actually does something of that nature, then I'm like, okay, he truly is evil, and like we really just have to stop him now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we've kind of yet to see what the impact of the season finale has done to him mentally, because that's gotta fuck with your head so bad, man.
Well, yeah, it does, and it seems like to me now at this point that he's kind of like, I don't even think that any of the people now are even real. I think it's all just people within his mind. And it's like the certain personalities are coming against him. Like they're kind of coming to stand against him. Like certain ones have finally said, okay, you know, we want to take control. Like how in the comics they're fighting for control of David. I kind of feel like that's what's going on the show too, but it's with who we see. Like with the people at the division at this point.
What if he's still at the ranch?
Right, at Summerland. What happened to Summerland? What happened to all the people there?
He could still be there, and everything else is what's happening in his head, and then we're getting possible snippets of the outside world occasionally. And maybe the whole second season was dedicated to that weird dude's brain. Because we have this huge time gap, and he gets trapped in this weird orb.
Well, season 2 is about madness, as they tell you right at the very beginning. It's about madness.
Because with the whole orb, it's like we don't know. He can just been there for like what, a few minutes or so, but just surrounding it, you don't know how long has it been truly. You know, just keep on warping reality itself. But it's like, I don't know. Even if they do the whole time travel thing, it's like if they had a situation like that, why was the orb introduced? Oh yeah, I forgot, because Carrie and Freak, the Carrie from, I think was it Carrie with a C, creates it. So it's like, wait a minute, is he gonna team up with Switch and that's how the whole situation happens? Like, I don't know.
Or maybe it wasn't Carrie that made it. He just assumed it was.
Because he knew too much about it.
Yeah.
Like,
he says,
when shows introduce time travel, damn it. Because now I have to like make sure we actually get to see certain things to have it all come true.
Well, there's still the question of what was Sydney so scared of that she wanted to keep quiet from in the orb.
I don't know. I just took that as, you know, when it comes to time travel, I was supposed to say like every single thing. So it's like she was always like keeping something behind. Like, I don't know.
Maybe she was with David at the time when she's trying. David's close. We're to assume she went in the puddle, right? In the pool that Carrie built, that David uses. Now, what if this isn't it? What if Switch ends up helping them, right? Like I think Ryu said that earlier, and that's how she's able to manipulate time, and it actually has nothing to do with Farouk. We could see Farouk. I could also see a scenario where we see Farouk try to team up with David and then get killed. Because I believe at some point Farouk knows it's going to be hopeless. He knows he can't defeat David. So, and he's kind of a coward. You know, and if he knows he can't win, he's not going to try to fight you. So, oh my God, it's getting really juicy. Talk for a minute while I try to process all this crazy shit.
Well, you brought up something and it reminded me. Oliver said that he was going to kill Farouk. So I'm waiting for that to pay off. I kind of hope that he really does.
He did say that. He's like, I know a way to kill you. He's like, oh, enlighten me. And he's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Too. So, yeah. And
It's
Yeah,
like he's just been like waiting just in case of, since him and Melanie are pretty much been away and they're just done with everything. He's just like keeping that in his pocket just in case like Farouk comes. Like, but back to the whole time traveling thing, it kind of reminded me of the X-Men like cartoon series, like X-Men Wolverine, where Professor X is pretty much like going into the using time travel to, you know, communicate with everyone. And it's kind of similar to what Sid was doing. So I could pretty much see that as happening. Where instead of, you know, with Charles Xavier going with Cerebro, it's pretty much, you know, Sid and Switch just like communicating with them. But they still need to get to communicate with David with the orb thing. So I'm guessing that's where Carrie came through. And if so, then maybe he has to still be alive. Then, you know, the female Carrie probably is the one that ends up dying.
and you know what? You bring up the similarities between the little orb thing and the one that David goes into, and the Cerebro, and they all do look alike too. Because I used to think about the Cerebro when David first got in the daiquiri, which is what it reminds me of now because of them talking about the strawberry flavor. But it does look like the little orb, and it's curious because I wonder if Sydney is in a similar thing, but a future version that Carrie made. Maybe like somehow Carrie has, you know, like future Carrie has made like a future version, a more advanced version of what David was in. And that's how Sydney was able to get there. Because she's obviously got some telepathic abilities because she's able to do stuff that David can. So she does more than just touching, right?
Mm-hmm.
True, because because what's the whole ability where they're like in season 1 when they were freeing David? I think there was like that one thing where the room exploded or whatever, and we always like wonder, okay, who was that, and like how did that even happen?
And she said it was her that did it, supposedly, but we haven't seen that power. Now we know that, if I'm not mistaken, Cindy has that power in David's head, and
Yeah.
then this goes all back to just having to rethink this whole situation. Go ahead, Rick.
No, I was saying, yeah, it's Cindy. Cindy. She's a pyro.
So, at this point, we could maybe equate Sydney to being Cindy, in a sense that he absorbed her and her persona saved him from himself. Oh my gosh, my brain hurts. Damn, man, I don't see. That's the question I can't get over there. Where did the pyrotechnics come from? And it would have to be in his head, and then you have to do a lot of finagling to get. Go ahead, Vivian.
Again, it could be this possibility where he just, the personality that he created, like said, was possibly trying to get in control, but maybe the others were trying to, you know, rebel. So maybe that's why Sid was even created in the first place. Maybe that's where I can just pretty much see it. And then somehow, some way, they kiss in the end, and suddenly she just disappears, and it's like, wait, what just happened? And this whole time, like, it was just like his personality. I don't know.
Well, we see him at Clockworks too when he's in the room and she comes and sits down and he's like in the little circle talking to the shrink. And all the people start to appear. They're not there. They just all of a sudden appear. I think they're all in his head.
I'm still confused with that one scene where she even like enters his room and you don't even see her feet or anything. It just, the camera pans, you don't even see any like movement or anything. It's just so weird.
Well, when she's talking to her doctor in the dark room too, right before she leaves, that does not make sense.
And I think I'm frozen because everyone else is frozen.
No, you're moving.
Uh-oh. I do. This goes back to the whole thing. All of David's love interests were in his own head as well. And he's like, in the beginning, he thinks this is just for me. That she's just for me. She's the only person in the world. And to y'all's point, she comes straight up to him, basically says, "Yeah, I'll be your girlfriend," after not knowing him. And then it's this very quick, weird romance. Now it turns into something cute later. And then we start to really dislike Sid. But man, yeah, I think she's Cindy at this point. Now I have to rethink what the hell is going to happen in season 3. And if any of this is real, are they going to go that route in the TV show? That's what I'm having trouble with.
Now, what if Lenny is actually a guy too? Because we do see little flashes where he actually sees Liddy and it is a guy, even in Clockwork. And then like there's times where like
Okay, that
really
wasn't just you
somebody
that time.
else. And he put it as someone that's in his head that was a girl that was coming through, like Amy or somebody, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he could have killed Amy a long time ago.
right.
So this goes back to the whole body gun thing. Oh, BBM, what do you think? So if we're going to extrapolate this and say this all in his head, let's go one of two routes and try it. And this could be a good way this will take us forever or till probably the end of this. But let's take it and give our hypotheticals for kind of what it would be if this is in his head. If nothing is physical, what does this mean? And then if it's intertwined with physical and conscious or subconscious, then where do you think it ends? It's a loaded question.
Right. Well, I
think I just in those 3 years, you're just thinking of like possible situations where it would just work out for him, and then you just go from there. And maybe one of them was just time travel, and then Switch appears, and it's like, okay, it's all working out for me. That's how I would justify it all. But seriously, if it's all been in his mind this whole time, I'd be pissed.
Oh, I think it has been. I think the majority of it has been, because just look at him at different times and he looks just kind of out of it. I think it's all been a battle of personalities within himself. I think he's fighting for control of himself, if that makes sense. Well, yeah, it should make sense. It's Legion. I mean, but I think that's what's going on. He's fighting for control.
Good ending. This would be from the comic books, not from the comic books, but kind of. What if it's Charles Xavier that like saves him in the end and brings him out of whatever this journey we've been on is?
Then they would have had to cast someone a lot older.
That's what I'm thinking. But
they better keep that under
got
wraps.
80s. You're in the 80s. So you would have to, or earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think no, it's timeless. They said it. That's why it's so confusing to tell what the time is because it doesn't really have a time.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily have to cast someone older. They could do a flashback scene, and then just the slightest amount of makeup could make him look old enough.
He can still even like look the
yeah.
same age.
Yeah.
You can say, well, I'm just projecting myself to look at that age. I use time travel back in time just to
yeah.
see me.
You see me as I want to. Freaking Charles Xavier.
Yeah, because I think David will remember him once he sees him, and then it's all going to kind of flood back to him in this emotional event that maybe he will lash out, and we'll see that thing happen from the books, from the comic books. But yeah, I don't know.
I think it's gonna trigger some big event whenever because he's gonna lose his shit. Like he's just gonna, when it's just gonna be some big meltdown. Like Sid ain't even gonna matter no more when that happens. It's gonna be. I want to see who's gonna be the one to get that out of him, though. Do you think it'll be more Lenny's side or Sydney's side or somebody third party, like the new character, the Switch? That'll get Xavier out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the new character that's going to give him possibly the ability to be able to switch between the alter egos at will. Given this metaphorical thing we're going through, and I'm going to go with it's in his head. The more I think about it, the more it just seems like it. The guy just getting killed off. All those powers, that every power we've seen from every person or mutant is a power that Legion has in the comic books. That's another thing you have to take into account. The point is, which point does he go into the state of a catatonic state? That's where you gotta extrapolate, but still trying to figure that out. Go ahead, BB. I'm sorry.
I think he just simply just went into that state because of what happened in the finale of season 2 at this point. So
you're gonna go with all of that was physical, or maybe You think the Gobi Desert scene was physical?
So I'm still confused by that though. I think that was physical though, because for me it's like if Farouk's body was in David's mind that whole time, and he's been there for X amount of years, it's like he just like never knew that. Like that would be like a huge plot hole there. And then he was pretty much out and about with Oliver, just looking for it again.
Yeah, but it's odd because where they're out and about, there's nothing.
And then the whole monk
Usually.
situation. Like
It should have been
again,
just a way out, like maybe a key or something to get out of his mind, more or less. You know what I mean?
You also saw how he filled up the car with whatever that is, brain fluid. The more I think about it, the more it's in his head, and you may be pissed off at the end of this.
if it makes sense, then okay, I'll buy into it. But if it's just like,
oh no, I got it. I think season 2 may be him breaking out of his own mind. The end of that.
That would be
we
great.
see what happens when the world killer is unleashed.
That would be great because I want to see him go full badass. I don't care if it's a villain or not. I want to see it. Bring on the apocalypse. Yeah, bring it on. Okay, now here's the weird thing because in actual X-Men Apocalypse, he helped stop it, right? In Age of Apocalypse, ain't he one of the ones helping?
Yeah, he gave his life for it, I think.
Right? So that's kind of ass backwards. But if he brings it on, so it's still full circle, I guess. Oh, it gets so confusing with Legion.
Well, I mean, at some point he does just destroy everything. And he's not a clear-cut bad guy, even though he is a bad guy for a long point in time. But you also have to remember it's not him that's the bad guy. It's the personalities that are controlling him that are usually the bad people.
It's whoever's in control at the time. It's not even David. Yeah. A good show to watch is like that. Just to understand a little better is US Terra. It used to be on Showtime like a while ago. It ain't been on in a few years. But yeah, just to understand DID a little better. Because she did it really good for all the different personalities.
Kind of reminds me of that movie Split that M. Night Shyamalan did.
Yeah.
Where it was just at that point in time, it was whoever was in control, and it was just like multiple personalities.
Yep. That's another good example.
Just to have like David just dress up as a woman now. He wouldn't know.
Well, when he's Sydney, he doesn't know. Because we already see what happened in Clockworks that happened when he got out.
That's true.
So they already did change places once that we actually visually seen.
Do you think they changed places whereas actually she took on David's persona?
See, I question, I question if that's when he absorbed her. Like, if when that happened, if their powers kind of collided, blew everything out, and he absorbed her then.
Yeah, you definitely have to go with all of season 2 being in his head, though. Which I'm not.
You had all them in your head, wouldn't you go crazy too, though?
Yeah, I would be happy with it being in his head. It makes way more sense to me than having this whole different division thrust upon us without much explanation and all these insane things happening, along with being told we're in a delusion.
Yeah.
That it makes sense that he would be breaking out at this point. Or we come upon season 3 and we have them maybe standing over him, wondering what the hell to do. You have Shift possibly that maybe could go in him. And then you're only leaving Xavier for the flashback scenes, which I'm fine with.
As long as I see him reading that book, then I'll be fine with it.
Yeah. I feel like we could have Shift come in almost being like a magic situation and having an ulterior motive for helping David.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I've thought that too.
Could see that happen. You see that? Oh my gosh, just lost a thought. Come back to me. Oh wait, it's back now. But you think that there's going to be an ulterior motive with Switch Like, what could it possibly even be at this point? Besides something that she just using David to like bring someone back or to bring forth the end of days or so, or as part of like another group.
Well, we know she's lonely and wanting to be loved in a sense. Maybe she's lost someone and trying to bring them back, and Legion can manipulate space time. In a physical sense, maybe she can see what happens in the past and present and maybe go in astrally, but not physically go back in time like Legion can. Her knowing this could give her the route to bring back a dead loved one, albeit brother, husband, girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to throw out there. I think it's a good possibility of something like that happening. I could see it.
That sounds more and more like magic. So it's going to be either a magic persona or a blindfold persona or maybe Bishop going on. So it's either going to snap out, mess with time, or mess with his mind.
Because even she can like go through time travel. It's like they're about to go to the future and see like this dude pretty much brought the end of times or so, and yet you're still gonna be helping him. Like I want to see like how like fluid this time travel is gonna be with her abilities.
It makes sense for her to have ulterior motives like Magic would, though. Like she needs them for something, you know? Because why else? Okay, unless she's gonna, if he's doing the whole Zen thing and messing with people's minds, if she is one of his acolytes coming in and she wants him to erase something from her mind, I could see that.
Yeah, that would make sense then. If she was having to be an acolyte, then he just suddenly just realized that, oh, you can time travel. And that would pretty much be easier for her to pretty much do whatever he says.
Right. Like she doesn't realize she's an asset.
Peter Griffin just gave me an epiphany. Thank you, Peter.
Let's get at that, ain't he?
I think the division, Dr. Melanie, and Patanomy put him in a catatonic state. Let's go further with this. We think about what happens with Patanomy and what Patanomy's powers are. Could this tree represent David absorbing Patanomy? He could go a long way with this. Keep going, because he could be in his head trying to keep David in a catatonic state this whole time. Melanie, all these people around him could be absorbed into David, and he's seeing their personas in his real world. So he's interacting with them, but they're not conscious of it.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Tree Man was in Clockworks in season 1. Tree Man was in season 2, of course, because we have Patanomy getting hooked up to the tree. And yeah,
too.
Now, when at the beginning of season 2, also when they first bring David in his catatonic state, and they're talking to him, and he doesn't respond. He doesn't respond when Carrie's saying his name, David, but then he comes to, and he's like he's someone else, like one of the other personalities have taken over, and he wants waffles. So whatever personality that is the waffle lover was awake, and yeah. But you'll notice he doesn't respond to David, but he responds right after that to them talking.
Do you think like every season's like a new personality that's pretty much just taking over at this point?
I think not even every season. I think at different times there's someone in charge. You kind of got to pay attention to who's running the show.
Well, Sid was there when he needed her.
Yeah.
Amy was there, and Lenny was there when he needed them. Farouk was there when he needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver was there when he needed him. Melanie was there when he needed her. I mean, it's just popping out. Go ahead, Ree.
Okay, yeah, I know what I was gonna say. I forgot this like twice. Okay, yeah, so like I figured it out. Like where you're talking about Melanie and Patanomy and all of them too. It's like they're the main personalities too, and they are like tapping in his mind and stuff like that. But they're the ones, like, where we see them sitting at the table and it's talking about their strategy, they're this department, blah, blah, blah. They're the ones all working, the main personalities working in his mind to try and run the rest of them. Because we've seen how many were in there. We got a preview of what was in there when he says they're all in the maze, you know, and it tells us that the brain is a maze. You know, the narrator is sitting there talking about it. Because I kept thinking about Westworld, too, because the way he's just talking about it, I was like, what show is this, you know? But he's talking about the brain being a maze and to picture it in your mind and all this, right? But the characters we're seeing are these main personalities that are trying to run all the other personalities in David. And it is exactly that. It's whoever he needs is who pops up and who's there in the moment.
And they always get there every time on schedule. And then you have the clip of him with the globe, just looking at the crystal ball, possibly orchestrating everything from his godlike status in his own mind, which is just poetic as fuck.
And a lot of visuals too, you'll see it like comes from the eye. Like you'll see it like zooms out from the eyeball. And it's always his blue eye. Like even in the pool, just a little different. A lot of cutscenes and stuff.
The whole behind blue eyes, yeah.
That's the song we get for the finale.
Yep. So it is. It's all just, and it all comes back to his delusion of being loved, and he deserves to be loved. And it tells us that all started when he seen her. And then that delusion was born. So now we're going into that delusion in season 3 and see what happens from that. I'm telling you, I think a cult. I think he's going to be like a cult leader. He's going to be messing with people's minds. Anything else you guys can think about as far as with what we're doing with season 3 of Legion?
Well, I do think he's going to be that cult leader, so to speak, like you're saying, and my dog's going to go crazy, so go ahead. I'll be right back with that.
Sure thing. I wonder if it's just going to be like that commune that we see him opening up in the first episode, or is it going to be like in multiple places? You know, I don't know how they're even going to do that at this point.
Oh, like where he was with Lenny. Yeah.
Because maybe that was like a foreshadowing of it, like what's to come. It's like it's in that tent that's what's going to be the place, and maybe we're actually going to have him with like the Legion hair like throughout the season or so, or at least just the beginning.
I know. I so want that. And I think we will get that. I think that's just bound to happen at some point. And with the globes too, because we seen Sid in the globe he was holding, and he had a bunch of them around him. It made me think that he finally got to different personalities, and those were all the different personalities, contained. And he was finally in control of his own mind. Maybe that's where it's kind of going.
So I always thought that was like him just like seeing like multiple worlds, if that wasn't a film or whatever. So I point that, okay, this is the one I pretty much need to make sure I become what's currently in present time, which was pretty much his future. So, and that was like him making sure that when he sent the future Sid, it'll pretty much be all aligned to like his goals. It's still like even wondering like, okay, every time you saw like a future Sid, was it always that same future Sid, or was like things constantly changing?
That's a good point actually, because I don't trust future Sid either. And yeah, now when she actually talks to Farouk, that seems genuine. As far as I don't think she's working with him at that point.
But this point, I wonder, was it just her talking to like David? Because it seems like David and Farouk was still like connected. Was it just all this time her talking to David, hoping that Farouk was like, oh, let me actually talk to this girl as well? Was that like the whole situation there? Because it was pretty much the talk that she had with Farouk that pretty much got everything together, because that got the current Sid to even like betray David to begin with.
Well, that's a good point too. And where I was talking about the colors earlier with the multiverse, when Farouk was in control, and we actually do see it was Farouk in control at the end, because it shows reflections of who is in control of each of these worlds. When we see the rich David that ends up being the billionaire, that's actually the red one. That's actually David. Now, the Legion that you're talking about, that we see the world killer, is actually wearing the all red. So it's made me wonder before if Farouk has just full on taken control at that point. So that's very interesting. Got me thinking now.
Yeah. Holy smokes. I'm gonna go with the whole David is his own mother's killer in the end, thus giving us this tragic story in which he has to sacrifice himself to save the world, or let himself be sacrificed. Maybe take his take control for that split second while someone strikes the final blow. And I could see him waking up after having been in this catatonic state. I also could see an awesome first episode where there's darkness, and then we see Xavier starting to talk to David and telling him to come out, and the whole thing that kicks off. He starts seeing everything that happened in his life, and then maybe David gets pissed that his father left him. Fucking causes a whole thing when he gets out, maybe permanently scars Charles, because for all we know, this could end up being almost close to current timeline. And like you said, Charles can project a younger self, which I think David will recognize. I think he's been repressing a lot of these memories, and they're going to come to the fold. A lot of revelations, a lot of mind fracks. I'll throw that out there. And yeah, I think we're going to see another bad guy just to kind of level it out and have them have to come together to get to save someone, but also at the same time, Legion's gonna revert back to his old self after they win. I think that's my best guess at this point, if it's even coherent.
At this point, if he doesn't, die at the end, just try to get control of his actual body. That's like really the true main goal at this point. Maybe that's again why he's going back to see his father, to just help him, just like how to control, to be better than what he is now.
Well, I think we'll either see him like sitting there as a vegetable or snapped out at the end. It's just gonna go one way or the other.
It is fascinating. I love how they set the show up. It can go in many different ways.
Yeah. Speaking of snaps, let's bring this up really quick. You guys excited about Avengers Endgame?
I am. I hope that there's a lot of cool theories out there. You feel like Captain Marvel's going to be the one to do it, given this whole Samuel Jackson slip-up thing?
I think
that's just Sam being a troll?
Yeah, I think they're just building Captain Marvel up a lot. I mean, yeah, they want to do all that, but it's kind of really late in the game to be making her all that for this. Because Avengers been going on a long time. They put a lot into it. Now they're going to bring a movie out like 2 months before that's supposed to be like the key. That just don't seem right.
If anything, if they're not going to like use her, well, they kind of have to, because pretty much like the half of the team is gone.
Yeah.
So they need someone else at this point.
I think it's gonna go. I mean, I know that she is a big deal and all that because the binary and all that, but I think it's gonna go a lot more towards the quantum realm and Ant-Man and what he's doing and stuff.
Exactly.
I feel like there's gonna have to be some combination to defeat Thanos. Maybe they have to go quantum to kill him. Kara may be able to take them back. It begs to question why Samuel L. Jackson hit the bat signal at the end right before he died. I think that's some symbolism there that him dying, that button he hit, that's what's going to bring him back. It makes sense to me, and I don't necessarily want it to happen, but it seems possible. But I also think Doctor Strange did something with the Time Stone.
Oh, yeah, no, like he activated it or something. No, I think so. Well, here's something else that I kind of think, and I've thought about a while. Okay, now we got Red Skull sitting on Vormir, right? I don't think that's an accident. The Tesseract shot his ass there, right? Why? He's just been waiting there. I think it's because the Soul Stone's mad because Captain America's kind of cheating death at this part, and it wants Captain America to on Vormir. Like the Soul Stone wants Captain America. I think he's gonna have to be one of the ones sacrificed because of that.
Yeah, I don't see him living past this one.
I think
Honestly.
the Soul Stone wants Captain America though, because why else have Red Skull on Vormir? You know.
Well, the dude that plays Bucky accidentally slipped up and said that, yeah, he takes over for Captain America and eventually becomes Captain America.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so that's happening. And it's gonna, didn't Bucky fade away at that point? I think we can see a self-sacrifice for Bucky, right? Because his whole thing has been about Bucky almost the whole time.
Well, and he keeps going on about, oh, we don't trade lives around here. So yeah, come on, Cat would definitely trade his life for anybody. You know that. And yeah, and okay, we know that him and Iron Man their contracts are up too, so they're kind of going off up there.
Like at this point, the Master has become like something what Fury has been. He just like a cameo here and there, but not that much. Like how he was in like Homecoming. Like if you're just gonna like appear, just be like that. Just don't make like a feature, like another film with him pretty much in it the whole entire time. You know. But who knows at this point? Because if they give him Iron Man 4, it's like, will he accept it? Will he not accept it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't kill him off. Because the moment where Thanos just stabbed him, I was like, oh my God, you're actually going to just kill Tony Stark off right here and there. But then he didn't. But hope they don't.
Didn't Tony pass it off to, in the comic books, did he pass it off to a girl?
I was thinking, was it Morgan in the comics?
Yeah, like currently? Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that in the movies. Well, they could, but like there's like no like tends towards her being at this point, unless she's just gonna pass the baton to Peter. But
well, you got the whole Spider-Man. I hope they bring in the Spider-Verse. Honestly, I want to see some Scarlet Spider and the different.
You're gonna see the cartoon. Cartoon. That's probably what Sony's gonna be doing at this point. Because I already heard that they're gonna do an all-female one, and it's gonna be like Gwen Stacy's gonna be taking like the lead in that one. If they're gonna do like more Spideyverse, because even like the way how the after credit scene was, it seems like they're gonna do like another one, but.
You could have the clone pop up at any time, though. You can have the Pig Parker clone pop up.
I still wanted the one where you got, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland just all in this one movie. That would have been good. We still don't get it yet.
Oh, no, we ain't getting that.
That would be the ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's so many of them. I forget every name of them. I got a few. My comics are stored away. I got to bust them out again because this has got me having the fever. But I'm so excited for Legion. Marvel's got a lot of great things upcoming. I want to see more Logan, more Deadpool, even though I hear they're going to maybe make Deadpool PG-13.
Yeah, I heard like someone else that said they're going to keep it rated R.
They better.
It's going to be under like the name of Fox, even though they don't own it anymore. But it's going to be like under the name of Fox. They said it's a possibility they're going to keep it rated R. If they have a PG-13, I'm not even going to bother watching the movie. I won't. And if I do, I'll probably watch it online. But I won't pay for it.
Well, how they did the Once Upon a Deadpool and made it.
It wasn't.
Well, they did it.
It wasn't as good. It was not as good. I even saw it. I was like, what?
I didn't bother. I heard it. Oh, it's just
they edited out so much stuff that inserted scenes. I'm like, what? Like, it wasn't just me. It's like, thank goodness they made a rated, R film. Because if they actually, made this, I would have been like very disappointed.
How about Juggernaut and Deadpool 2?
Yeah, Juggernaut. You know what? I completely forgot he was in like X-Men way back when because he sucked. And this was like how Juggernaut was supposed to be. It's like, I love the song too. I'll sit there. I had it as a ringtone for the longest time on my phone.
Really?
It's a naughty song.
Definitely the most badass version of Juggernaut I think we'll see on screen for sure.
Yeah, ever at this point. Like Last Stand, theirs, I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Last Stand was embarrassing.
X-Force
the
didn't last
Phoenix.
long, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious. Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it. X-Force. Everybody just thought, and what's his name? Was it Tim? I
Yeah.
can't remember the
Yeah. Hang in there, Tim.
He's the only one that made the landing besides Domino, which she ended up being badass, man. I love her.
Luck ain't his superpower. Yeah, it is.
That was very cool how they did. I was wondering. I was like, how are they gonna pull this off? They fucking did it, man. They did it. Man, kudos.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, he did. And even with Brad Pitt in it, that's Vanisher, where he kept saying, "Oh, if you're there, then you're hired," and you see the little seatbelt, and then you only see him that one time, and it's like, oh, that couldn't have been any better. and yeah, I love anything Ryan Reynolds is in now. He's just hilarious. He's a big goofball.
Which I think of the Phoenix movie we're gonna be getting with Sophie Turner.
Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Are we ever gonna get it though? We're supposed to have it like October.
Yeah, of course. Then I keep pushing it back, or so I'm like, are we ever gonna get it? Then I heard they did like a second test screening with the audience, and they don't even like it. So it's like, come on.
It's got to be rated R, man. That's the only way a real
It's
Dark
not
Phoenix
gonna
can
be
be
a
portrayed.
rated R.
I know, but like they have to pull a Logan. They have to pull something like that with Dark Phoenix because the story is so powerful, so emotional, so
Dark.
so dark. Right. This is another David Haller type struggle. This is a little more simplistic. But her powers, man, like in the comic books, that's one of my favorite characters, even though she's flapping insane by the end. And yeah, they're gonna butcher it, man, because you can't do that without it being rated R and gritty, because that's just how it was written in the comic books. That's how everybody sees it, and you're trying to take that away. Yeah, maybe younger kids may like it, and it may be a hit eventually, like some of these other movies that aren't really a hit right now, because, you know, I don't think people are in the comics like they used to be, at least not the younger generation. Not speaking for all of the younger
I was about to say,
generation.
you know what? Here's the realization I came to about that. Everybody that was really into these comics, particularly, is now about age 30 to 50, roughly. So they're all grown up, which is why we're getting all these movies. So, which is actually pretty awesome when you think about it, because what better time in movie history than now for these movies? Because technologically, we're just now to the CGI point where they're good. Because you look at the movies like 20, 30 years ago, I mean, really, could they have pulled off what they can now?
No, not the slightest. Like, I don't see Infinity War CGI
Right.
being that great at all. Especially like which that movie came out, like during the time when Blade came out, like it was that much CGI though, but imagine like something like that would like to be in there. It was been like improbable. Like Guardians, like CGI fest there. You couldn't see it back then at all.
They would have had to go old school, different setting. Like when you see the 80s movies with the meticulously made sets and all the makeup and how crazy, just to make a great movie that still stands the test of time today, like Blade Runner and other things. They did some crazy stuff back then. That's some super talented people.
I'm thinking about
it is funny to watch them.
right now.
I just watched Legend the other day with Tom Cruise. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was like a badass movie back in the day, though.
Yeah, it's still good, but it's weird
Yeah.
to watch it now.
That's like Never Ending Story is weird for me to watch now. I can't watch that one. That little flying puppy dog dragon
The
thing.
Luck Dragon.
GB's me, man.
Falcor. That's
No, I can't watch that. I used to love it when I was a kid.
Creepy.
It does. And it's like, I can't even watch it no more. I like dogs and dragons, but you throw them together and it just messes.
Well, some of the lines are like just really weird, like trying to draw a kid into a van with candy type comments.
Bad rabbit one. there's a Bad Rabbit one. I forget the name of it on.
Who shot Roger Rabbit? Oh.
Oh no, I love that one though. But it's got some creepy rabbits that are fighting against each other, and I never heard of it. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" And my best friend was like, "Oh, I remember that from when I was a kid. I'm never gonna watch it." And I just went right over it. And she's like, "There's some bunnies, and then there's these mean bunnies that fight against them." And I was like, "Who the hell would watch this for kids?" And she's like, "My mom."
See, now Monty Python and the Holy Grail and the bunny and the holy hand grenade come up to me now. The man-eating bunny.
Now I get that better now because yeah, I bet that's why they came up with that.
Maybe.
I'm gonna figure out the name of that evil bunny.
When Lancelot attacks the whole castle with a sword, that shit's hilarious. Ha! Go ahead, yeah. Vivian's like, what the hell are you old?
Exactly. I'm trying to see
about?
like what kind of movie I've been watching.
I will send. You have to watch Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, especially if you watch Game of Thrones or anything. It will kill you, man. It will literally kill you. I know you've seen the meme of like the knight with half a body and no arms.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
you've
remember
never
seeing
seen
that.
Monty Python?
No.
That's it. It's just a flesh wound. Like
Yeah.
he literally just cuts his arm off. He's like, "What are you doing? Your arm's off." "Oh, come on." He's got one leg and he's kicking him in the ass with one leg, saying, "Come on, you're a Nazi." Still fighting until the end. He's still cut in half and he's still talking shit when he goes.
Yeah, I've always seen like that scene.
Oh my gosh, man. It's killer. They follow each other around with coconuts to act like they're riding horses, and they just walk around like this. Yeah, man, it's good. John Cleese and all them back when they were young. You know, it's a race.
There's a few of them. There's Flying Circus. There's Holy Grail.
Vivian's like, I don't care, man.
No, I'm probably gonna watch at this point because if I don't watch it, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of messages saying like, "Have you watched it? Have you watched it?"
Did you watch Monty Python?
It's worth watching. It's a classic, no doubt. Lots of things and references are pulled from that movie all the time.
I'm just worried they're probably gonna buy its Funko since after I watched the damn movie.
You know what? I don't think I've seen the Funkos for that yet.
Yeah, they do have them because like the horse thing, not the horse, the guy with the missing body parts, like they made a Funko to that. So I'm guessing there must be like an entire line of it.
You know what? That's the one thing my mom told me she would not buy me for my birthday. She's like, "I'll get you whatever you want, but I ain't buying you no damn pops."
Our family members are the same way. Like they don't do it. They buy me anything else but that. Ever since I told them I have.
Don't worry, they don't come out till April. I'm good. I'm like, I'm good till then, Mom.
Oh yeah, I'll show off my wildfire real quick, and I got like some strangle.
Oh, the way how you
like
transitioned there, I thought he was gonna say you brought a Funko, but like what?
No, I don't have any Funkos, but Bobby Catalano made this for me. Got some strangler here. It's even the purple crystal.
Oh, that's pretty.
I've got some Tears of Leaf. Oh, she went. Oh, check out this hand-bound notebook she made for me. This is my list of potions.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's great.
So, go check out Bobby's stuff. I don't think she's like any kind of real business, but she'll make stuff if you want. It's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I had to show you too because you asked about it earlier, and yeah. Thanks, Bobby, if you're still out there. Anyway.
I know. Bobby was here a little ago.
Silent moment.
Did you do? I have something that it went too. I have a lot of them little potion bottles. They're in storage right now because everything is. But I think I showed them to you before where they were on my dresser.
Oh yeah,
I had the little weird ones.
Oh, there she is. She popped out of nowhere. Ah, yes, I do, Brownwick. Trying to work on it. Bobby's trying to make me become a maester. She sent me some stuff so I don't accidentally hurt myself. I'm waiting on my Melisandre glamour, though, by the way.
Oh.
So if I look like a really hot female...
What if
I know why.
You go old hag, though. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh goodness. I we get there's a lot of good television movie. I mean, this year is jam packed with a lot of good things. I think Stranger Things is even coming back this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
finally.
Have you
It's
seen
interesting because it's normally in October, and then they said,
yeah, it's
"Oh, it's
weird.
gonna be in the summer." I think because I think they can do like what 4th of July or something, whatever.
I think
Based on
they're
that
gonna
poster,
set
I'm
it.
guessing that's what they're gonna do.
I think so. I think they're gonna set it in there, and also you have this whole mall sequence scene. I think that's gonna be kind of a cornerstone or a base for.
that was like some creepy childhood flashbacks with that ball commercial.
And
Life.
That
Oh,
was
go
just
ahead. Oh, did I drop?
they
yeah.
dropped a little bit. So what were you saying before you cut
I
out?
have no idea. Where did I stop at?
We were talking
Uh,
about the mall, and
oh,
then
okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of a centerpiece for the season this year at the mall. Steve and Nancy will probably have a job, and the kids will be hanging out at the mall all the time. They seem to be at that age. This is going to really take us back to. I'm kind of excited to go back to the days when I used to hang out at the mall all the time, and you had to go to the arcade because there weren't many video game consoles. Uh, it
exactly.
seems like a long time ago, but it wasn't really that long ago. I miss arcades, the real ones.
Yeah, I think there's only like one more arcade, and for me, I either have to go to Chinatown or maybe there's like another one in Manhattan where it's like a complete, and you have to put in quarters and stuff. I was like, oh, sure, they actually still had these. It was actually great. Always playing like floor hockey and stuff there. It was crazy.
Twitter parents. Um,
I remember I seen that tweet.
yeah, Justin's my son too, by the way,
Yeah.
Justin Thomas. Funny. I think Bobby and Al are Mackenzie's parents. I don't know who my parents is. I never got around to doing the thing, but I probably should. It'd be funny. Yeah, Justin's been a bad son. I have to get a hold of. He hasn't talked to Daddy in a while.
Justin, who's your daddy?
Oh goodness.
Well, and you remember too with Stranger Things, like we seen Will. Yeah, Will. I was like, that was his name, right? The creepy little kid. See, it's always creepy ass kids. He was staring off and he seen the monster. It looked like it could have been over the mall too, just because it was like a big old parking lot area.
Ooh,
True.
do you see my spore theory?
Mm-mm.
Where basically Satan's butthole that we had in season 2 is a spore. It shoots spores. It's basically a type of fungi, and it seemingly got in the lungs of a few people this season. I
Yeah,
think
like Hopper and who was the
that's
other
going to
one?
play out. Maybe that's how a Demogorgon or
Again,
something else is
Dustin.
born.
Could be. I still want to see if they're gonna actually like kill off one of the kids this new
I feel
season
like,
or so, or not.
well, as long as Will gets to be a kid this season would be nice. Maybe they can torture one of the other children for a little bit.
I hope so. But the way the poster was, even he was turning back and like shocked at something. So I'm just like, ah, come on, can't leave him
Damn it,
alone for
Will.
one season.
I know he's poor kid.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come back on.
He'll probably stay the tortured kid though. But what always happens to the tortured kid?
Either he dies, become whatever is torturing him.
Yeah. He almost died once when he was down there with the Demogorgon, remember?
True.
Yeah, you could say he's half dead still. I mean, he's not really all there anymore.
Yeah.
Since the first episode, he's been a shell of himself. Going back to the spore theory, he had that stuff in him. He could be harboring something. Oh, God. Yeah, Will's going to explode into something next season.
But did
Spoiler
all that
alert.
stuff like came out of him though? Those slugs?
He was like puking it up in the bathroom and stuff. Remember?
Yeah, but then where was that all that it was, right? And if that's what
I
he
get
gets
you
from
now. I get
that, is there some type of infection he can get from? Because I don't know. I don't think that butthole was there just to knock people out, right? That seems like a giant butthole just to knock Hopper out that one time. That's kind of all we get. I think there's going to be more to that. But hey, who knows?
True. Other than that, it's like I don't even watch Netflix for anything else. Almost, it's like well, I still have to like watch The Punisher, and whenever Jessica Jones is going to come out, maybe that's going to be like the last season for that
Yeah.
at this point. Like, well, because Disney just had to start their own streaming service, and then everyone is trying their own streaming service, and now Netflix is like, you know what? Since you want to start your own streaming service, you're going to stop everything. I'm like,
right? I wasn't too happy with Jessica Jones last season, though, with her mom, that whole crazy stuff. I was just, I don't know. So I'm not too mad at him. I love Jessica Jones. I just thought the whole mom crap was stupid.
Yeah, that was just so complex with the moms. I was like, just bring back Kilgore. That's what I thought they were gonna do. Bring him back.
I kept waiting. I'm like, and then, what the hell?
Then we finally got that one episode. I'm like, yes. And then it's like, oh, he's just a figment of imagination.
Right?
And then the trailer was like hinting, like, oh, maybe he actually is coming back. So you saw like the piano playing, and then it just went to purple, and then you just see him clapping. I'm like, okay, so we're actually gonna get back season 2. Then it's like, oh, it's just the mother, really. But
I haven't even watched Punisher. I'm like saving it for a rainy day because I don't want to get mad.
I haven't seen season 1.
I have
and
season 1. I won't do season 2 though.
The thing about Netflix that is good and bad is you have total creative freedom, right? Basically for what you put out. Also, you don't have anyone checking you either. So sometimes that's why you can have these forced plot lines, things that tend to get chunky, but the good writers and good shows tend to plow through that. Having another set of eyes look at your stuff and critique it somewhat, not necessarily tell you what to do, is always a good thing. Because sometimes it's hard to see your own mistakes, but the ones that can, they seem to push through there. I don't know.
You need that extra someone, and maybe we never got that singing number. Hey, I want your cray cray. That could have been all avoided. Someone looked over. Oh my gosh, this day I'm like, really? Do we really need that in that show? And now she's going to be like what? Probably a villain for season 3 or so. The way how it's even going with Trish.
Yeah, Trish is. Yeah, she like went nuts now. So, yeah, that's what I think. I think she is.
She always wanted to be a hero, and now what's going to happen? Is she going to gain abilities? But
a hero.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to think she's
Netflix.
a hero and really hurt and stuff.
It's going to do the last Airbender.
Yeah, they're gonna do it. As long as M. Night Shyamalan's not doing it, then it's success. Because he just took his own interpretation of the whole series and he just did his own thing, and it just turned out to be terrible.
Hey, DJ.
Hey, DJ11. Season 3 already started. I'm not sure what season 3 he's talking about. Unless he's talking about Stranger Things, I know. But yeah, if they do Stranger Things, just pace yourselves out. Don't rush anything. It'll be all good. If they have M. Night Shyamalan on it, I'm not even going to bother to look at it.
With a twist. Let me think of Robot Chicken.
Oh man, I got on a Robot Chicken like spiral yesterday and just watching video after video.
You can get lost in Robot Chicken, man.
I'm gonna send you some now because
so
you're gonna get
so
me
good.
started again. Like that's like all I did yesterday was watch Robot Chicken just over and over. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah,
that's how I didn't sleep when I was younger. It was always like on. I think it was like what after Family Guy or so, and it would just like push over. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna be watching this. Yeah. Then when they had their marathons, it was just ridiculous.
And then Family Guy would come on again.
Mm-hmm.
And Futurama, I love Futurama. I still watch Futurama.
Yeah. I remember when they did that anniversary, then they did that movie. I was pretty much just re-binging all of it.
Yeah. I still do.
Now we're in the wonder, like, oh, where am I? Like, summer's gone to. Pretty much just binging those type of shows.
Yeah, man, it doesn't take long to lose yourself, especially in the binge era of TV that we have today.
Isn't
if
it
you
great?
make it 2 days without watching all the Stranger Things, good luck. Just really depends too. I mean, it takes away certain things you can do cinematically as far as cliffhangers, right? So that's another thing they have to work around. That's definitely an art form to get used to, not having that weekly break, that suspension build up for the next episode. That can,
Sometimes I hate when they enter like a filler episode and it's like, what? And then you pretty much have to wait an extra week. So
Yeah.
hopefully wherever they're setting up is going to have a good payoff. But then if it isn't, it's like I wasted my 3 weeks just waiting on something good.
yeah, so true, man. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else is Isn't The Watchmen coming out this year?
I
Or is that
think
next
so.
year?
I think
End of
it's
this year,
2019. I think it's the end of this
I
year.
want to say fall.
They're gonna have, because I think it's gonna be like after Game of Thrones. They're gonna do that.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
something to check out. I think if anybody can do it, HBO can do that and give it justice.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as CW didn't touch it, we're all good.
Man, CW is making me mad. I don't know if I can watch any more CW shows. I really
I
don't.
was gonna watch like stuff like Riverdale, and someone was like, "Don't even continue watching." I'm like, "What? Okay." And then I hear what they did to Charm. I'm like, "Don't. Why do you have to touch my Charm?"
Yeah.
Just, if they touch Buffy, then I probably just have to like boycott like for a
Yeah.
while.
We're doing Roswell now too. And,
You doing what?
Roswell, that one's getting
I
rebooted.
heard someone tell me about that. I'm like, "What? Roswell? What's that about?"
Area 51 shit. That's some aliens that live among
Was
us.
that how it was before Roswell? Was that about
Yeah.
aliens?
It was called Roswell before, and now it's called something like Roswell. But yeah, it's the same show. They just redid it. Just like they're doing Charmed.
DJ says the Flash gets worse every season.
I haven't
Thank you. I'm glad I haven't.
Like, if you've seen the first season, you pretty much seen season 2 and 3 at this point. Season 4 was just got off of trash. They went to do something new, but it's like, no, if you had a formula, you might as well just continue with it. And then season 5 comes, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna at this point just binge it. Gotham is still strong.
Gotham, yeah, Gotham's dope. I love Gotham.
We have a good base and a clear ending with that too. So
yeah, I got into that one on a binge though. I didn't watch it from the beginning where I had to wait.
Yeah,
but that's on its final season now. But what a way to go, because they really are good. I like that one.
I need to binge it because I'm behind on so many great TV shows.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
I'm gonna get my priorities straight because BBM, we got to do a Supernatural stream. I can't help it.
I'm still waiting, man.
I know. And
300 episodes so far, man.
They're in what
seasons. This season they did like 20 episodes because normally like what 22 or maybe 3 episodes. And the last time they did a season less than that was like season 3 because of the writer's strike back then. So it's like I don't know if they're hinting like, oh, this may be like the second to last season, and then season 15 might be the last season. Like I don't know, because when it comes to CW, besides Arrowverse, like this other show that's pretty much making money for them is Supernatural, and that's why it's still going.
It's a good show, man, and plus Sam and Dean. Come on, who don't want to hang out with those two? Well, maybe not so much Sam. It just depends how melancholy Sam is at the time. But you know, Dean, he I don't know. He's just a funny dude, man. That's
as long as Sam is not, forcing me to eat salad or some type of thing, then we're pretty much good to go.
And apparently, Dean is Michael now. Is Michael in Dean's body now?
Damn with the spoilers, damn it! But might as well, yeah.
Who am I fooling?
I don't know. Those are still catching up. As well as that too, because you're not really truly caught up.
No, I need to watch after Amara and God leave. I think that's where I left off. So I have like 4 seasons.
Amara and God leave. You have
5 seasons.
2. Because how will that end? Because I didn't react to that season. I think I started reacting to it in season 12. I think that's season 11.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I didn't miss as much as I thought I have. So Yeah, I can get caught
Yeah,
up
so it's
easy.
pretty much like 2 seasons because after that, it's the whole thing with Mary Winchester there, and then the whole next thing is Jack, and then the season. So you're pretty much like what 2.5 seasons or so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that won't take long. Plus, that's my guilty pleasure. Supernatural.
Nah, for me, it's
It's a
like
fun
what
show.
it's the vampire shows at this point with Legacies, the originals, Vampire Diaries. That's like guilty pleasure of the CW at this point. It's like,
That's
because
about the only thing I'm hanging on to on the CW.
like
It
because
is
once you got vampires and
oh my
witches, I'm
God.
like, okay, I'm just gonna look at it, and then
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm watching the entire series.
Legacies is like I feel like I should because I'm so invested in Vampire Diaries and the originals. It's like, okay, I'll watch it.
Exactly. And then I hear someone commenting like, "Oh, they're pretty much planning at least like 15 or so spinoffs." I'm like, "What do you mean?
What?
15 spinoffs?" Like, oh my gosh, it has something next after this. I'm like, what else are they gonna do? And at this point, it's like, okay, are they gonna do like what 5 or 4 seasons of Legacies? I already see like 3 seasons, like whatever happened with Landon here, did the Gemini Covenant,
Yep.
and then whatever they're gonna do with Hope at the end, maybe for 2 seasons or so. But like, if they're gonna do another spinoff, it's like, what's next?
What's the point? Oh my God, they get too crazy with it.
And of course, if we're gonna watch it at this point,
I
we're
know.
already
I'm just thinking that's more I'm gonna have to watch then too. Maybe they'll go back to New Orleans.
because even like, I was kind of hoping they were doing that since they told Langdon, "Oh, I have someone in New Orleans who can help you out," but then they skipped over that. I'm like, what?
Oh, it's like I was like, crossover? Is that a new intro? Do we have one?
Can I say something I'm super disappointed in that started just making me mad? Fucking Preacher, man. Preacher
That has to
should have
get
been
into.
good.
Someone tells me like all the shows I'm watching, you would love Preacher.
Like,
I'll be right back.
That
I
and
have a
Borderlands as
problem
well.
with the ending of the last season. It still could come back. It's really comedic driven and dark, so it's you have to take it with a grain of salt. Where this isn't really super realistic at all, but it's not over the top either. It's hard to describe. But Cass, the vampire, yeah, I'd say check it out. Watch like first 3 episodes. If you don't like it by then, you probably won't.
That's like on AMC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's,
Okay, good. So it's like if I don't support AMC through The Walking Dead, I'll just like hop on Preacher. That's a good reason to keep the channel.
That's good. You know, Seth Rogen and who else?
He's in it? Or he's in it?
He's the one that he wrote it or directed. Not wrote it.
Okay.
It was a comic book, but he's producing it or directing it. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's dark and weird. It sticks a lot to the comics, but yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief for physics a little bit sometimes, and science. But other than that, you know, I know you don't have a problem with that living in the fantasy realm. We do. So,
that American Gods. I can't wait till that comes back.
Oh, that was really good.
See, I had a problem with the first episode getting through the visuals just being a little too weird for me. That I couldn't. I gotta watch it again. You know, sometimes if you're not in the right mood and you watch an episode, it just doesn't come off right for you. And if you reboot and go to and watch it again, maybe it comes right. But when what's her name? The goddess that I can't remember her name for some reason ate the dude with her vajayjay.
Oh yeah.
the way it's portrayed. The way it was portrayed just was really dumb. I know it's like that in the books, but she could have absorbed him in a cooler way, or at least it looked cooler. The way it happened was just so odd. It killed the tone for the rest of the episode for me. I was like, man, I don't know how to get past this. I don't want to have sex anymore.
In my house. Because you know I'm a smart ass and always talking smack too, man. I was saying so much crazy things. And that's a good show too. I tell you what, I didn't watch that until probably about 2 months ago, and I sat down and watched all that at once. That was another one I binged.
I kind of wish I could have binged that because it was like 2 or so slow episodes, and I was like, come on now. Come on. Where is this heading off to?
You know what? Especially in the beginning, because I couldn't have watched it otherwise. Because it started off really slow. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get into this. But
Yeah, the first episode didn't portray Shadow Moon really well. It didn't give you any depth to him at all. It was like just this surface character is what it felt like.
yeah,
That's kind of
But
like this
that's the first
character
episode.
without the first season, really? And it was like every episode with it.
I know,
I
and
was
that's
like,
what.
okay, like, wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I like the take on it. I like the visuals, how they go with the whole 300 aspect kind of thing. But just a couple of things threw me off. Maybe if I'll try to get through that. I'll honestly give it a good shot again because I got that much respect for it, and seemingly everyone else likes it. So maybe I was just in a bad fucking mood that day.
300 is a good comparison though, because
It
a
is.
lot of those shots. You're right. Visually, yeah. And I'll tell you what, come on, it's Odin, Mr. Wednesday, whatever you want to call him, because come on, it's the same dude. Come on, he's a great actor. I love him in anything. He's just a cool dude. And even in this show, he was awesome. It's like as soon as I seen him, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this is gonna be a good show just because he's in it. So yeah, that's what got my attention then. And yeah, I like the Leprechaun too. He was kind of just a smart ass.
Yeah, Matt Sweeney. There we go.
Yeah, Matt Sweeney.
I'm tempted to buy his Funko Pop now. Just like thinking of this whole show right now.
He has a Funko?
Yeah, like him, Mr. Wednesday, Shadow Moon, but I didn't like the Shadow Moon pop. Hopefully they make another one of it. And Laura Moon. That's the one I have. I have Laura Moon.
This man, he has so much wealth behind him right there.
He expands my Funko world every time I talk to him, I swear.
That's apocalyptic currency.
Right? I'm collecting the Venomized ones now, like the Venomized Avengers and all.
Ah, yeah, that was like, I think did what? The one that actually looked that cool was the Loki one.
Yeah, Loki is cool looking, actually. I seen him. He's on my list. There's a couple cool looking Lokis that I've seen, actually.
Oh my god, I want the Dolores with no skin.
The what?
The Dolores with no skin, where she's just the exoskeleton.
Oh,
the top
that one?
half of her. Oh,
yeah.
I was tempted to buy it, but I was like, I'll just get this one Dolores. It's cool in my collection at this point.
Yeah, I think I'll get that one if I have to get, if I got one and I had to pick. Yeah. Maeve wins.
I actually do have a couple of Westworld. But the only one I got from me was, and yeah, I would get that one too. That is a badass one. It was Dr. Ford. I got my kids. Dolores and Teddy, because my son loves Teddy. He I don't know. He just loves Teddy. So I seen them. They were like $4 at Books A Million. So I was like, hell yeah! And I just wanted Dr. Ford.
For me, I have what? Dolores, Ford, Bernard, Maeve, Dolores, and Samurai.
Oh yeah, I want Maeve.
I didn't get Teddy because I wasn't a fan of Teddy.
Yeah, I don't like
in the show. And the young Ford, I didn't get him either.
Yeah, I didn't want him either. I want to get Maeve still. That's the one I want. And then I want the Man in Black just because. The Samurai.
How can you not love Teddy? I mean, the depth of his character and his backstory and how complicated and complex his journey was throughout each season. How can you not respect that?
Dolores, and that was it, and you know it.
I tried to sell it.
You could.
Right, wait, it's got Samurai and Dolores.
I think, season 3 of Westworld.
It better be better than
season 2.
It's
It's gonna be a whole different scope. I think they're gonna slightly still go with the unreliable narrator, but I don't think they're gonna lean on it as much. And I believe we're gonna have a more linear timeline as to what happens outside the park, and then they'll go back if we have a season after this one, which I think They're planning on 5 seasons. They have an ending already in mind. So we don't have to worry about that. They have a goal.
How many seasons you said? 5 seasons?
That's what they planned on. We'll see if they make it that far. But that's why I think season 3, we're going to see a lot of a linear timeline outside the park, and we're going to see what the rebuilding of the park looks like, and maybe Maeve's reawakening and everything of that nature. I think it's going to be good. I think season 2, they tried to just confuse us too much, but I think they may have learned from their mistake. But it doesn't seem like it. They're still standing strong behind it, saying we weren't smart enough to get it. But I get it. I can just still poke holes in it.
True. Did the Man in Black really shoot his daughter, or no?
Yes, they confirmed that he really did kill her.
Remember, I was at like doing the reaction to the episode where it happened. I was like, yeah, he did it, and someone was like, you weren't paying attention. He didn't shoot his actual daughter. The next episode kind of confirmed it, and then you're telling me that they confirmed they actually shot her. So it's like right now, I just feel like if I had the ability to directly message the person, I've been like, I told you so. But yeah,
that happens. You always have detractors out there. Oh, people are going to disagree as well.
As long as the show doesn't end up like Lost, I'll be okay with that. Just don't give me a Lost ending. At this whole time, it always just a narrative. I'm like, oh, congratulations, you just pretty much ended the whole story that Ford created. Like
they said they got an end. They said it wasn't going to be this way. So
I hope so.
Fingers crossed with that.
Don't bring no black type of freaking essence where we start floating around.
Oh, shit.
Don't bring out a polar bear coming out of nowhere. Don't even bring time travel into this.
There's time travel everywhere now, ain't there? We got it. We got it on Avengers. Where else? Westworld.
Like all the shows I watch at this point has time travel.
I know, right?
I was reading a manga and they introduced time travel. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't. Then like, oh, you're gonna get like time travel in like 20. You're gonna get time travel to the future. I'm like, okay, don't do like go into the past now. If so, I'm like, everything is just completely broken.
Yeah, I just want to say it's not my choice that I don't have a Funko, Brad.
I know. I kind of feel sorry for him. I was like, oh.
If I had a little more disposable funds, I'd at least have 2% of what BBM has. So.
It takes time and dedication.
I'm really excited though. With this year coming up, there's so much. And I know there's shows we're not even thinking of that are gonna either be new hits. There'll be at least one new hit this year. I know we have True Detective, but that's we can do just one stream on that. That's nothing you can really do a bunch of stuff on. But it is.
It's like Game of Thrones is pretty much be taking everything this year. It's pretty much when it comes to shows at this point. Unless they fail off make a terrible last season, then it's like it's anyone's take for all then.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think Game of Thrones can possibly make a terrible season. Not I mean, they can piss us off because we're book readers and we built up expectations, but I mean theatrically, I don't think it can possibly be bad.
If we get another season 7, it'd be the worst ending of a TV show besides Lost.
That sucked. Writing that was just no. But yeah, no, I don't think they could do that though.
I think they learned from that slightly.
Yeah. Look at just who the directors are and stuff. I don't think it's gonna be bad.
Like they made the biggest mistake by taking the dragons beyond the wall right there. That's the biggest mistake they made that throws everything completely out of whack.
Right, I agree. But I think I figured that out, though. Okay. Remember they said that they give Dorne's budget to the White Walkers and all, and the wall and all that? Remember? Okay. I think it's because they gave Dorne's dragon to the Night King, too. And Viserion should actually be Dorne's dragon, not the White Walkers. So that's why it had to go beyond the wall. That way they could get it.
Yeah. I mean, but you would have to bring down the magic barrier first.
They should have
'Cause
done it like that, but yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
They wanted to show off all the pretty snow and all that other stuff. It was probably easier for them.
Viserys, I am the blood of the Xavier. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be the problem for us when we're actually watching. It's like, wait a minute, can I even trust you?
He's gonna be going, David, wake the
Mhm.
dragon.
But that is exciting news. I mean, I couldn't be happier with that news. Maybe a different actor, but I'm not upset with this at all because the guy's a good actor. So I'm just happy we're actually getting Xavier and it's confirmed. And we'll get more than a flash of a wheelchair. Uh, that's what I'm excited about.
I am brilliantly happy with the actor. Even I think because I love him as a narrator. I love him as an actor. I think he's going to make a just excellent Charles Xavier. I think they cast it wonderfully. I can't wait to see him, especially with Dan Stevens. Come on, seeing him play against Dan Stevens, I just think that's going to be fun because he's brilliant too in his own right. So just the two of them together, yeah. Yeah, come on. Just think as the cast, yeah. This is going to be a good season with that.
Yeah, baby.
No, I have nothing.
He'll just be him.
We didn't talk in a long time though.
So
Yeah.
true.
Mainly about Legion and just the speculation there and
Yeah, like
everything.
almost a half an hour conversation about Game of Thrones before we got in here. I
Yeah.
was worried
Oh,
like we
yeah,
were gonna
that
like
too.
trickle it in.
Yeah, it was just so much info in the brain. I don't
Y'all
know how
missed
I remember
that part
names.
too. Sorry, Chad.
But yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to throw at us before we get out
Well,
of here or
Oscar,
whatever?
I know you got something to say too about something you're doing. I'm going to be doing some Harry Potter streams with Branwick Blackwood here soon, and you're doing some. So that yeah, that's going to be fun.
Book? You're gonna do all the books, or you're gonna do like something?
We're going to do whatever. I don't know where we're going to start. We're going to start just randomly talking about it, and then we're going to start with some Fantastic Beasts stuff, and then we're going to go back to book stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to do yeah. But
I'm still in between what happened with Crimes of Grindelwald. Because after first watching it, I was like, "What is this?
yeah,
what are y'all really doing?"
we were
Second watch, I appreciate what I got.
Yeah, that's where we were talking about starting actually. I was asking him tomorrow. I was like, "Hey, you seen that, right?" And we're both Slytherin, so you're gonna get a Slytherin take on it.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm House Gryffindor, you know.
of
So
course you are. I believe that. I so believe that. Oh, and Johnny, you got something going on. What you been doing?
Oh gosh, so much. So I got the Cylon Johns, which is a BSG rewatch with a bunch of first-time watchers called the Cylon Jills, Mackenzie Burns, Amy True, and Bobby Catalano, and Clarissa Thompson. And they talk about all things Battlestar Galactica, spoiler-free every week. Also on my channel, Ninners of Fire and Blood, usually every week. Had to push it this week, but we'll be covering every chapter of Fire and Blood. Right now, we're on the start almost of the Dance of Dragons. I believe it's Heirs of the Dragon when Viserys gets crowned king, and you have the contention between him and Balon. So be on the lookout for that. Also, a Quickie of Ice and Fire series has just started. Short and sweet videos that will come out every Sunday, and the occasional second video bi-weekly. The first one is Aegon the First, and also episode clubs Wednesday, and ding ding ding, cat fight Thursday for my birthday at some point in time. It may be a late night stream. I'm not sure on the time yet. I got to finagle it at around to stagger it between things. So be on the lookout for that. There'll be a big old panel of people. I don't even know who all is going to be there. I just know it's going to be a few different people, whoever can show up. And I think that's it. I'm probably forgetting stuff. Ugh. Oh yeah, podcast tomorrow and a few podcasts this week. And just check it out. I'll be everywhere. You'll see my face.
You are everywhere. Oh my goodness.
In the words of Peter Griffin in the chat, Johnny is the YouTube Legion, 1,000 topics.
Yes, I will humbly accept that title. Thank you, Peter Griffin. Thank you so much, Rhea. I appreciate you for having me on. And BBM, it's a pleasure to share forehead space with you, my man.
Thank you. You wanna do our shout out chat because I can't see shit. I ain't even gonna lie. You wanna do that first? Fandom.
Damn, they always pin me to say the names in the live chat. For starters, forgive me if I start butchering the damn names. But let me see if I can like scroll all the way up. Okay, good. I actually could scroll all the way up. So besides Johnny, because he's obviously right here in this damn panel, Mackenzie, Burns, Brand, the bearded builder, Grace was here earlier saying hello, Carrie, Cameo. Who else? Bobby, Connie, Lady.
I'm reading with them dead eyes.
William My Rhapsody was in here. Hopefully I haven't skipped anyone over. Bran, Al, Red Sox fan, and I believe that is DJ. DJ11 was here. And that was it. And if I missed anyone, don't start raging at Ree. It was pretty much me who missed everyone. But once again, thank you for having me, Ree, on your channel just to talk all things like Legion as well as Marvel and any other fandom we pretty much like tailored and transitioned to near the end of the stream. And once again, Johnny, glad to be talking to you once again because it's been like a while since I even did a stream with you, as well as you. Ray as well, so it's just good to talk to share with everyone else again, as well as people in the live chat. I am Fandom D Saint, the artist formerly known as BBM, because people are constantly saying BBM within the panel as well as the live chat on my channel Fandom D Saint. I think if you still search Broke Black Man 94, it would still pop up, but still, if you click Fandom D Saint, you'll still see my channel there. I do like live reactions, recap and reviews of shows like Black Lightning, The Gifted, Johnny. Get on.
I'm trying to bring that up to you.
Okay, I will.
Yes, The Gifted, Legacies, Gotham, Supernatural, and soon, and I believe it's in April, it's going to be Marvel's Cloak and Daggers in return. We got to talk about that one as well. That was shockingly good. And since it was like on Freeform, the former ABC Family, I didn't think it was going to be that entertaining. And then when I started like binge watching, I was like, wow, this was actually pretty good.
That's how I
really went out. It was. Oh, it's pretty good.
Also, happy birthday again.
Oh. Yes, happy birthday to everyone. Because I know there's like a lot of birthdays going to be this week.
You got Lady Dreamfire, Lady Laura was in chat too. Yes.
But you were saying you want to say something about Legion, Ree. Not Legion, The Gifted. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, The Gifted. Just what the hell's going on there? Okay, they're really irritating me on there. First of all, they're just kind of I don't even know. Like, yeah, are they gonna do Fenris and just?
That's if we get renewed for season 3 at this point, because that's one thing they haven't like announced. Is season 3 coming, especially with the whole Fox deal? It's like, how affected was The Gifted? Are they gonna say give them one more season? And if it's gonna be like one more season, they're gonna give them like what 12 episodes or maybe like 10, just like finish it off at this point.
If they do give them another season and give them another chance, and they should probably change it up a little because I don't know. I just think that some of them on there are kind of a little. I don't know. I just don't like them.
Like John, I can't stand John at this point.
Yeah,
like, with his character. Blake is okay. The Fenris is okay. Reed, he's getting a bit better now this season with his abilities because that's a bit interesting. But his wife, I'm like, she can die. I wouldn't be care really. You know, it's messed up to say that, but it's like, oh, she dies. Like, okay.
It's like, well, you just shut up already. That's how I feel about her.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But it's interesting what they're doing with the Inner Circle, even though it's pretty much the Hellfire Club, but they want to be PC about it, and like Inner Circle.
Right? I know.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and I think they could do really good things with it. That's the shame about it. And I think they're just kind of cheesing it out a little bit for tweens or whatever. I don't know. It's like this could be a really good show, but they're just screwing it up. It's making me really mad because like we got all excited about the Morlocks being on it and stuff, and it's like this is it. They're just hanging out in the sewer. That's all.
Yeah, because they didn't really utilize them that much within this season. Because when I heard like the Morlocks, I'm like, okay, so I thought that the Morlocks was going to be like their new base of operations, but instead it's just a place that they constantly just visit. This time it's like, all right, and even when you get to the Morlocks, you really see the type of Morlocks, you know, at the point that these are mutants that can't be out in public, and we rarely see those type of mutants on the show when they even do the Morlocks itself. It's like now we're just seeing some of the mutants that pretty much were defected or just went over there. So it's like, okay,
Right.
all right.
They're not even really Morlocks. Yeah. It's really disappointing. They could have just done a lot more with it.
Yeah, just hopefully we get renewed for season 3 and we just get Fenris.
Yeah,
So that's what they're gonna do.
Be happy.
Because there's nothing else that they could possibly do, because within the first season they pretty much were hinting the Inner Circle, and then we go into season 2 with the Inner Circle, them fighting, you know, against, you know, the whole Central Service as well as the Purifiers, because they named out the Purifiers there. And so far this second season is just nothing but Fenris. So it's like you're getting all this Fenris hype, and then if Disney or whoever like owns the rights, whatever, says like, oh, we're not going to do another season, it's like that was just hype for nothing when it came to Fenris.
Well, they hype for Magneto too because all the hype about her dad.
Exactly. Like if we got Professor X in season 3 of freaking Legion, it's like season 3, you better give us Magneto.
Yeah,
just give us Magneto. I was hoping during the Polaris flashback you'd get like something of him, but they didn't even do it there. So I was like, just please, just at this point. And like, I'm surprised we haven't even got like Quicksilver or mention of him or anything. It's like, well, that's another kid.
yeah. It's like he's just or Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nothing of
Even
that.
Quicksilver, do you think he will pop up in Endgame?
Because I thought that was gonna even happen in Infinity War. Really, I thought that like Thanos would like conjure him up or something just to like, you know, taunt Scarlet Witch, whatever, to get the whole, was it the Mind Stone that was inside of Vision? There we go, his name. But instead it didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, but hell, if they can bring a bunch of people back, it's like one of the things that they can bring back is like Quicksilver, because he can be useful.
Yeah.
So I don't know at this point. What do you think, Johnny? You think they're gonna bring back Quicksilver?
They should, just because he's funny as hell and he needs a break from American Horror Story.
Good answer. I like that. Yeah,
Which, by the way, horrible ending. Anyways.
Right. No, I agree. But I think it was a horrible ending. I just can't even. I can't even.
She tried to justify it for a second.
I did. I was gonna say I think it's because it has something to do with the next season that we're going to, but it still sucked. So that doesn't even help it.
Yeah, it could be a huge setup, but still, for a whole season just to be a setup.
No, it just sucked. The ending sucked. I was like, it just sucked.
If you want a better apocalypse, just watch season 4 and 5 of Supernatural. There you go. Just watch that, and that's the best apocalypse I've seen. Oh yeah, they're doing Good Omens. That's like another new show. It's gonna be like, I believe it was on Amazon or so. Good Omens. Same dude who like even I know he co-write it with the same guy who did American Gods.
Yeah.
I read Good Omens, and that was just fantastic. And just seeing like David Tennant's gonna be in it, I'm like, okay. He's gonna be like Crowley. I'm like, I'm gonna love this. That's like another show I'm actually looking forward to this year.
Oh yeah. I watch something that's good just because someone tells me it's good. So I'll watch that one now. I'll keep that one in mind. Amazon Prime has some good ones. I don't know if you guys have ever seen
Oh, Taboo.
Anna.
The second season of Taboo is coming out too.
I'm supposed to watch that season. Just tell me to watch that more of that. Is that the one with the prostitution ring in New York, or that's another show?
That's Peaky Blinders. Taboo is kind of the same. I'll give you a little bit of backstory. It's about the East India Company in Britain and slave trading, and slave trading's just been outlawed. There's still been people sneaking slave ships. Tom Hardy ends up being a deck member or a captain. He survives a wreck while having a bunch of slaves on board. He ends up living in Africa for a while, and then this is set when he comes back, kind of a changed man, and he kind of practices voodoo, and he has all these sidekicks that are not your average people. It's really dark, good. He's haunted by ghosts and spirits the whole time. I mean, it is fantastic. It was on FX, and they said fuck like 4 times on cable.
Yeah, they do all
and
the
what's his name? The High Sparrow is one of the main baddies in the first season. And a couple of other characters from Game of Thrones is in it. It's really, really good. It's captivating. I enjoyed that. I thought they canceled it.
A lot of people from Black Sails in it.
I gotta watch Black Sails. Like
Black Sails was good too. Yeah, I remember seeing Taboo somewhere though. Because yeah, that's what I thought about. Because I kept seeing it up there, and I was like, "Didn't I watch that?" No, because yeah. Now I'm gonna end up watching it. Anything else you guys want to say before we go? Because yeah,
we pretty much said our plugs out.
Yeah,
we said our plugs. So you can close out now.
We got sidetracked there. See, that's what happened. That's a butterfly moment. Yes, and come check me out again on here with Kimmy later this week. We're doing Dorn with Carrie McDonald to be on with us. We are finally going to do Dorn, I promise. That'll be, I'm not sure what day this week, but we'll get back to you. Thank you guys for coming, hanging out. Thank you, Fandom D State, BBM, whatever you want to be called, honey. We love you. And thank you, Johnny Be Crazy. And we'll talk more about Legion as we get more information, too. You guys check it out. Legion Season 3 coming in June. And Season 1 and 2 on Hulu right now. Go check it out. You won't regret it, I promise. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.